I have asked ChatGPT to fix this car. And I have only one goal.
To make the most money on this car.
With just one rule. I will strictly follow whatever ChatGPT says, no matter what I think or what the outcome is. This is the 2015 Ford Fiesta Turbo with a broken engine.
That's how the engine got ruined. The turbocharger normally spins at 80,000 to 200,000 RPMs and uses the engine oil for lubrication. The internals of the turbo failed and it leaked all the oil into the engine, causing major damage. But he decided it wasn't worth it, so I bought it.
So I bought it for $1,000.
And the first thing that ChatGPT said is to take the engine out of the car. You can see me now removing everything that's in the way, starting with the car battery, the drive shafts connected to the wheel, and basically anything else that's in the way.
In general, there are three ways to get the engine out of the car. The first method is just to drop the engine from underneath, which is my favorite. Second one is to remove the engine up here, but there's not much space for the engine to go up. And the third and most common way to get the engine out of this car is just to remove the bumper and the headlights and just slide the engine out.
ChatGPT suggested to remove the engine from underneath the car, so I don't have to drain the AC gas. ChatGPT also suggested draining the engine oil and keeping a small sample, just to check for any metal shavings or signs of internal damage. It took me a total of 3 hours to remove the engine, and that got me curious, so I have asked ChatGPT how long would it take to fully fix the car. It said around 3 days, but you will shortly see that the reality is completely different. I wheeled the engine into the garage, and at that moment I knew there was no turning back. It was just me, the engine, and these four walls. Oh, and my jack stands.
Okay, now I think I'm ready.
With only one way out, getting the engine fixed. Or at least, that's what I was hoping for.
Before asking ChatGPT, I think I should at least spend 30 seconds to discover the engine. What I would usually do is just replace the engine with a new one. Especially it's a cheap one, but let's see what would ChatGPT say.
But ChatGPT had a different opinion, to check if I can rebuild it, because that's actually the cheapest way to fix the car and maximize the profit. Out of all the tools I have, the one that I use the most is the leak down test tool. Let me tell you why.
The leak down test is the most important test that you can do to check the health of the engine. Let me explain how it works really quickly. All you have to do is to adjust the crankshaft pulley to make sure that the piston is in its highest position. By doing so, you are sure that the air intake and the exhaust valves are closed and you are sealing now the combustion chamber. Then we'll push pressurized air inside the combustion chamber. There should be no leaks, maximum 5 to 10%. And then you repeat the process among all cylinders. In our case, we have 3 cylinders.
You can see me now bringing the leak down test gauge and the air hose, rotating the crankshaft to bring piston 1 all the way up to what's called top dead center. Then I connect everything and send pressurized air into the cylinder. And here's my big mistake, did you catch it? But regardless, I had low compression across all cylinders.
So now it's confirmed we have a damaged engine. Let's ask ChatGPT what to do next.
ChatGPT said we need to tear down the engine, so I started by unbolting the transmission from the engine.
To be honest, that's the easiest car so far that I've worked on.
The gearbox spins because it's connected to the engine through a large wheel called the flywheel. That gives us proper access to begin dismantling everything.
Okay, now with the transmission out of the way, we have the engine and we'll start tearing down the engine.
Step 1. Remove the air intake manifold. Next, take off the fuel rail from the top. Finally, remove the plastic engine cover, also known as the valve cover.
ChatGPT said that this bolt is the hardest bolt in the engine. It's actually the hardest step in the whole process. But I believe with the right tools, it will be a piece of cake. Let's try the biggest one. Honestly, it's not as bad as everyone is saying, but the thing is, you must have something strong. Honestly, working in cars, you must have an impact wrench, you must have timing tools.
Alright, back to tearing down the engine. This engine has a cover that hides the timing belt. This cover is also used to mount the engine to the car. So to access it, you actually have to lift or completely remove the engine from the car. In some other car brands like BMW for example, you can remove the timing chain or the belt in our case, and it's tensioner without taking the engine out, but not in our Ford. Now that the timing belt is finally off, we can go unbolt the head bolts and remove the engine head to inspect the cylinders. There are 8 bolts holding the engine head to the block, and Ford uses a unique type of bolt that looks similar to regular Torx. They actually require an M10 right tool. It's cheap, but essential for this
That's
job.
the moment I was waiting for. and I'm so worried right now. That's the moment that we're gonna know if there's any hope in this engine or simply no. Be damaged. Please don't be damaged.
This is how the cylinders look like. Well, they don't have to be spotless, but they definitely shouldn't be that black. Seems like there is a layer of burnt oil left behind.
So the culprit is, when the turbo failed, it leaked so much oil into the air intake of this engine. And the engine was so hot, so the oil kind of clogged and prevented a perfect seal for the piston rings and the valves. So ChatGPT is saying that we have to take the pistons out and then take the piston rings, change them, or see what's the situation.
ChatGPT also suggested checking if the engine head is warped, which can happen due to low oil or overheating. You can do this by placing a flat edge across the head and looking for any random gap. Luckily, the engine head appears to be straight, or at least that's what it seems to me. Next, we remove the pistons to inspect the piston rings and check the cylinders for any damage or signs of scoring.
There are some scoring here and here. I don't know if this piston is good, to be honest. I don't have enough experience. I'll ask ChatGPT. But the main problem that I can easily see is the third ring. It doesn't move. You see the first one and the second one, they move freely. But the bottom one, it's so difficult. I guess that's the main cause of the problem. So let me show you the scoring marks. That's the first one. Second one, not as bad. And the third one, I don't know. I feel like that one definitely doesn't feel nice.
So, back to ChatGPT. It's crazy that I can send photos of the cylinders and get instant advice on what to do next. If you're thinking about flipping cars, honestly, you have no excuse not to do it. Or at least give it a try. What you see me doing now is called honing. Basically, it's sanding down any imperfections inside the cylinder to create a smooth, even surface so the piston rings can seal properly again. After a quick quality check with ChatGPT, it was confirmed that the cylinder walls are now perfect, and that's job done. Next is cleaning the pistons. They need to be spotless. The cleaner they are, the more freely the piston rings can move, which means better sealing inside the cylinder.
So I finished cleaning the pistons, and that's how it looks like before and after. What took the most time were the grooves. If you can see, I had to clean the grooves bit by bit, and it's so narrow, so it took the most amount of time. I'm not happy about the scoring on the sides, but that's what we have to deal with. Other than that, we have done well, and it's time to continue cleaning this.
Next, and that's the final step before reassembly, we install the piston rings. There are 3 rings per piston, and the top 2 are marked with a small letter that must always face upwards. This is the tipping point of our project, literally downhill from here onwards. We're about 7 minutes in and already putting the engine back together. I never ask you to subscribe, but I really need your help here. What do you prefer? Fast-paced videos like this, or breaking each car into a more in-depth video series?
I hate to be the one wasting your time just watching me putting everything back together. So I've time-lapsed it and I've posted it as a short on my channel. Have a look if you're interested.
ChatGPT had one last unusual but smart suggestion. Do a leak down test now before everything goes back together.
As you can see, I don't have any of the camshafts installed, and that's just to ensure that the valves will all be closed and sealed. Cylinder number 1. Not bad at all. We have drastically improved the engine performance, for sure.
And that's number 3.
Nice. So good, actually. So let us just do a quick recap of everything that we have done so far. We have taken the engine out of the car, checked the compression, honed the cylinders, put new piston rings, and put the engine back together. Next step is put the transmission back to the engine, and then all of that back to the car.
We have definitely came a long way. If you told me 6 months ago I would be able to take a car engine apart and put it back together, I wouldn't have believed you. But honestly, I don't think I could have done that without ChatGPT. So thank you, Chat. For the first time, the car is finally going into the garage. Hopefully, it will be driving out of here on its own power soon.
The car is finally in. Next, what we have to do, just lift the car up, put the engine in, and we are done. If everything goes right. So I've asked ChatGPT how long would it take for me to put the engine back in the car, and it's like 8 to 12 hours. And I'm not sure if it will be 8 to 12 hours because that's disappointing. But
so without wasting any more time, I've slid the engine back under the car. If you don't have a lift and you're trying to save the AC gas and keep the front bumper on like me, you will struggle just like I am right now. It's a bit heavy and awkward to handle. Then, using my engine crane and a lot of careful wiggling, I managed to lift the engine back into the engine bay and secure it to the engine and transmission mounts.
And that's it. Engine transmission on. Time to do the wiring, the oil, the coolant, and then we can give it a try. Oh my god. It took a lot longer than what I've expected, to be honest.
Because Ford uses a timing belt instead of timing chain, it's quite important to use the correct oil, 5W20.
We have everything done and ready. But before we start the car, I need to prime the engine first. And to make the best out of our time, also connected the compression gauge to cylinder number 1. Yes, and it's time to prime the engine for the very first time.
Just so we are on the same page, after 5 cranks, anything over 160 psi is considered a healthy reading. These are the results. All the cylinders have drastically improved and are now in the OK zone. They are also all within the same range, which shows consistency and good overall engine health. The last and the final thing I had to check was the spark plugs to make sure they were firing in sequence, and surely they did. And now it's finally time to start the car.
No bad at all. If you want to see how much money I've made, how much I spend on parts and literally everything, I'll post a short very soon about that.